city manager, but I think he'll be here in just a second. I apologize for our tardiness. We got caught up in a conversation in the work session. I have the time as 7:39. We'll call the special called public hearing and regular business meeting of mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia, Wednesday, May 27th, 2026 to order. We do have a quorum. All members are present. We'll start tonight with an invocation to be given by Council Member Rochelle Brown. Rochelle?
Gracious Father, we come to you tonight, Lord, just giving you thanks for this day. Thank you for allowing us to be here, another opportunity to operate under your will. Lord, we ask right now that you give us wisdom and guidance as we enter this meeting tonight. Lord, give us clarity as to where we need to move, how we need to move at your command. Lord, it is unto you that we dedicate everything that we do. We give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Rochelle. And now, for those that are able, if you'll stand for the pledge to the flag to be led by Mayor Pro Tem Norman Carter.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. We have no ceremonial matters, so we'll move to the minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
There's a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. We have no invited guests or department reports, so we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda as published.
There's a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Now we have one item under a public hearing. Item A, provide citizens with the opportunity to submit written and oral comments on the proposed operating budget for the city of Snellville for fiscal year 2026 to 2027. We're going to start tonight with a presentation to be given by our city manager, Matthew Pepper.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We appreciate you being here. Brian, do you mind turn on the PowerPoint, please? Thank you. So as the mayor mentioned, this will be a brief presentation to give an overview to the citizens here on the proposed FY 2027 budget here. To begin, we'll start with we'll talk about the overall budget development process. Before we begin with that, let me just give an overview of a few things related to what's required in the budget. So our fiscal year runs from July 1 to June 30th of each year. So this FY 27 budget would begin in July 1 of 2026 and will end on June 30th, 2027. Per the law, for the state of Georgia, by law, we're required to adopt a balanced budget, which means our revenues and our expenditures equal each other. Also, as required by law, we must complete and file an annual audit with the state. That audit is also published online and other formats across the state there. Our budget process usually begins in January with department directors beginning to prepare their needs for the coming year. Usually at our annual retreat, our department directors will present a few budget items for consideration to the mayor and council in preparation for additional meetings and conversations about what we're able to fit in the budget for this year. Over the course of January through April and May, Mercy and I, with department directors, work on compiling those budget requests, those needs, and putting them into a budget that can be presented to all of you tonight as part of this public hearing process. And then in order for a budget to start in July 1, we need to adopt it in June. And we are on track to adopt the budget at the next meeting, June 8th. So in kind of preparation, talking about the 27 budget, it's important to show some of the kind of milestones that we've had this fiscal year. We broke them up into kind of two categories, what we'd consider community milestones and some organizational development milestones. I'll just run through some of these briefly. Grove businesses opening and programming associated with that grand opening was held earlier this month. Throughout this fiscal year, the council adopted some branding and other items related to our entertainment district, which is essentially the downtown area where patrons can have alcohol outside of a restaurant or a business and can walk around that area surrounding the downtown and the Grove. Briscoe Park Community Center, that's under construction right now. That will be a 34,000 square foot building at Briscoe Park. It will have 2 full-size basketball courts, an above-ground walking track, staff offices, and 2 community rooms, and then an aerobics room there. North in Wisteria Intersection Improvement Project. That is what came about from there is a dedicated left turn lane on North Road southbound as you approach Wisteria, and then on Wisteria a dedicated right turn onto North Road going north there. There's also some sidewalks that were installed, as well as additional site lighting, pedestrian lighting in that area. Another milestone was our sewer upgrades in partnership with Gwinnett County to accommodate any kind of future growth and investment in the downtown. There's about 1,600 feet of sewer that the city is working with the county to install to meet any future needs of redevelopment in that area. Continuing on the milestones, we had some significant capital investment in cameras in and around downtown and also in Briscoe Park. We held an election in 2025. We also upgraded our cybersecurity by recommendation of our IT vendor, going from .org to .gov. Our police department continues to perform well organizationally, but also received recognition from the Governor's Challenge. They were first for education for distracted driving for all agencies within the state. We also paved and resurfaced 2.6 miles of roadway, city roadway, through a combination of a state grant called the Local Maintenance Improvement Grant, coupled that with local special purpose, local option sales tax funds, commonly referred to as SPLOST funds. We also were able to address about $1 million plus of needed stormwater infrastructure, which is basically replacing failing lines across the city that we've identified as failing. And then we also were able to take care of a resurfacing project at the Briscoe Park tennis courts there. Some of our organizational development milestones is we've begun kind of an internal management training program here at the city, where we're working with department directors and supervisors on various management topics like conflict resolution, differences in when you have a diverse group of workers, differences in how those folks approach their work. We're lucky to have a lot of folks that have been here for a long time that are of a different generation of workers. So we've got baby boomers down to, I don't know what the newest one is, Gen Z. Thank you. Gen Alpha. And all of those folks learning to work together from their different perspectives. We've also had conversations on how to best approach disciplinary needs and things as they arise with our employees, and it's been well received. We've also identified some key hires, one of them being our downtown development director, Jan Harris, to help manage the Grove and other downtown development growth as we move forward. We've also expanded and some wellness programming from our staff through our HR director, Gabby Downs. They focused on different trainings related to stress management, sleep, exercise, diet. All of that has also been well received by our staff. Just, as information for folks here, the city does a lot, and it takes a lot of dedicated employees to perform that work. And so we employ a total of 158 staff here. 118 are full-time, and you've got about 40 part-time folks that are out there every day doing their best to serve our community. Moving forward on the FY27 general fund budget. So this is the fund that funds the majority of all of our city operations and services here. And I'll show you a breakdown in the next slide. As far as this budget's concerned, we expect about an 8% increase in the budget from last year, from the FY26 budget. A lot of that increase can be identified in an additional nearly $350,000 in capital improvements that we've budgeted for, primarily in software improvements and upgrades for City Hall's HVAC system that serves here, but also serves our active adult center. We have additional staffing needs in our Parks and Rec budget. So as the Briscoe Park Community Center comes online, there'll need to be staff there to help manage that. We've also seen increases in our liability insurance costs and computer and software costs across across all of our departments there. So this budget that we're presenting is based on a millage rate of 4 mills. I think if the council agrees and moves forward with adopting a millage rate of 4 mills for this calendar year of 2026, that will be the 5th consecutive year of a millage rate of 4 mills there. Some of our projected revenue changes: property tax up about 4%, franchise tax is 3.5%, insurance premium tax is 8%, and you can see all them from there. Our general fund department breakdown. So as you can tell from this graphic, the majority of the expenses that the city incurs in the general fund is related to our public safety, to our police department, and all the work that they do, including our investigative unit, as well as our dispatch folks there, and the records staff that handle all the open records requests there. Admin is the next largest budget item as far as breakdown there. That includes our IT and HR and finance folks, our clerk, and then our general admin folks here, followed by Parks and Recreation, which took a huge jump with all the folks that are in the budget for the new community center. And then, Public Works and Planning are close, and then ended with our municipal court there. So that's the operating side of the budget process. There's certainly a capital side that the city needs to address over time. So we're providing this year, have a 5-year plan for capital investment in equipment and major projects across the city. Most of these projects are funded through a combination of several different funding sources, primarily being SPLOST, which again is the special purpose local option sales tax. That is money collected specifically for capital improvement projects and equipment. You've also have a combination of grants. I mentioned the local maintenance improvement grant, the LMIG grant that we use for our road improvements, general funds, stormwater fees, other types. So over the next 5 years, if the plan holds true, the city will have about $31.9 million in investment of projects that we have discussed over the last few years. So for the FY27, 2027 capital budget, so that budget's about $12.4 million. The majority of that is the Briscoe Park Community Center. That's underway now. And will hopefully be completed by the end of the summer, August or September of this year. We've got some repairs at the recycle center, so some of the repillars and repaint some of the pillars and some of the awnings there. The market building at the Grove. So you might be aware that through the DDA, the city leased the bottom floor of that market building to Crooked Can. There's a second floor to that building that the city is actively looking for a partner to occupy that space there that would help activate even more fully the downtown area. And then, as I mentioned before, some of the improvements, repairs and software replacement that needs to be completed for City Hall and Active Adult Center's HVAC systems. The capital budget also includes some of our more routine items that we take care of every year. So we are upgrading different failing stormwater pipes throughout the city. We're identifying roads that need to be resurfaced and repaved throughout the city each year. There's capital equipment that the city replaces each year, primarily police vehicles and laptops and radios. I think in this budget there's some replacement equipment for some trucks and other things in the Parks Department here. I think this might be our last slide. Yeah, our last slide here is just an update on the 2023 SPLOST here. So as I mentioned before, it's exclusively funding that can be exclusively used for capital projects. It is a county-wide tax that is distributed between the cities and the county based on population here. So the city is expected to receive about $28 million over 6 years. That SPLOST funding had begun to be collected in 2023, so we're about halfway through that now. The last payment that the city will receive will be 2029 there. As part of the process for a SPLOST to be approved, it is approved by local referendum, and all the participants have to provide voters the different categories that each city or county will use those funds for. So the 4 categories that are SPLOST can be used for are in that corner there of transportation, debt service, recreation, and water and sewer improvements there. So we are limited to spending SPLOST dollars in projects related to one of those 4 categories. In closing, so as I mentioned earlier, the budget will be on the agenda for adoption June 8th. It will take effect July 1. There's printed copies of the budget and the operating budget and capital budget here today on the back credenza, and then they're also posted online for public consumption. And that's our presentation for the budget this year.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate that presentation. It's a good overview of what's happening in the budget that's being proposed so far for this year. The purpose of this public hearing is part of the required process for passing the budget. And so I will open the floor now for any citizens that wish to come forward and speak, provide comments on the proposed budget.
Tricia Rollins, 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. Do we have any money for the wall on 78 across from Captain D's, which is a total embarrassment to our city? Not everybody gets the children with their heads cut off. I've had people comment that it is just absolutely awful to drive through our city to have that wall in that intersection. There are no trees with blooms on them. We've got our tree fund. The lights are out. They're going out. Last I counted was 29 on 78 out. Residents supposed to turn them in. Y'all passed 14 to 17 of them coming in here. Were they called in? No. Lights are going out in Snellville. They need to be looked at. Also asked for 30 days for the update on the liquor store case. I understand we're going back through appeal again. Where does the money come from for the court cases? Is it general fund? Where does it come out? If y'all could get back to me on that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Then seeing none, I will close the public hearing. And I would advise everyone that the plan right now is to approve the final budget on June 8th. So again, this is a proposed budget. If you have questions or comments, feel free to email any of your council members or the city manager, and we'll be happy to take your comments. So we have up until then to make comments on this. All right, so that ends our public hearing. We have nothing under our consent agenda or old business, so we'll move to new business. New business, we have item A, first reading, which is the budget. Again, this is an ordinance that we pass, so it requires 2 appearances on our agenda. This is the first reading. We just waive this. We'll place it on our June 8th meeting for final adoption. So it's the first reading ordinance 2026-02, adoption of the fiscal year 2026-27 budget for each fund of the city of Snellville, Georgia, appropriating the amount shown in each budget as expenditures expenses, adopting the several items of revenue anticipations, and prohibiting expenditures or expenses from exceeding the actual funding available. Is there a motion?
Motion to waive the first reading of ordinance 2026-02 and place it on the June 8th agenda.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. With a motion and a second, all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. We have item B, consideration and action on approval of a proposal for a salary study by the Carl Vinson Institute of Government. Mr. Pepper, would you mind just giving a little explanation of that?
Sure, no problem, Mayor. So this item pertains to, well, I'll back up. In 2023, the city completed a classification and compensation study for all city employees. What that is essentially is opportunity for the city to study and understand whether the city employees are paid the market rate and paid competitively compared to folks in the area and our direct competition, I guess, other cities. Out of that survey and that study that we did, the city adopted a $15 minimum wage for all city employees, implemented a new pay scale, and updated the classification assignments for each position. The classification essentially is the minimum and mid and maximum pay range for a specific position within the city. As a follow-up to that initial study that was completed in 2023, we feel like it's a good time for us to get a check-in on whether or not the city is continuing to pay staff at a competitive rate moving forward. So what this study would do is the Carl Vinson Institute of Government, which is a public service consulting arm that is associated with the University of Georgia, would provide a market analysis for the city for us to look at for the next budget to determine if we need to change any of our pay classifications as far as the dollar amounts that are in there, and make sure that folks are being paid in line with what the market is paying for those roles.
Thank you. With that explanation, is there a motion?
I make a motion for approval of the salary study by the Carl Vinson Institute of Government.
In the amount, can you provide the amount also?
What is it, 15? In the amount of $15,136.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate by council? Then I will ask for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 5 in favor, 6 in favor. So none are opposed. Then we have item C, first reading ordinance 2026-03, an ordinance to amend the solid waste ordinance, chapter 46, to provide severability, to repeal conflicting ordinances, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes. Again, this is another first reading. What these changes will be, there are several items in our code related to sanitation services, and we have a new contract that's starting in July 1st that are changing some of those provisions. One of those items, just to give you an example, is that the code references the blue bag program that we have, and that is going away as everybody's getting larger cans. So that program's phasing out, so we need to remove that from the code. So there's a couple other provisions along those lines. At our next meeting, we'll have a chart that specifically goes through each of those changes, but that's what we're doing here, is adjusting the code to reflect our current contract. Is there a motion?
Motion to waive the first reading of ordinance 2026-03 and place on the June 8th agenda.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Have item D, consideration and action on surplus of police vehicles and equipment. We have 4 items. A 2010 Nissan Altima, 2 police units that are Dodge Durangos, and a vault system that would go on govdeals.com, is that what it is? For be sold at auction. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the surplusing of police vehicles and equipment.
There is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who was that? Was that Carrie Cat? We have a motion and a second to surplus these vehicles and equipment. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. We have item E, consideration and action on approval of the engagement letter with CKH CPAs and advisors for auditing services. Our current auditor, Jimmy Whitaker, has retired, and so we're having to move on to another CPA firm to provide the city's annual audit. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve consideration and action on approval of the engagement letter with CKH CPAs and advisors for auditing services.
Okay, there is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion by council? Then I will ask for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. Have item F, consideration and action on approval of a proposal with Jacobs for preparation of a concept plan for the redevelopment of the site located at the corner of Highway 124 and Oak Road. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the contract with Jacobs per the published scope for the amount not to exceed $50,000 pending the approval of the city attorney and to authorize the mayor to sign the contract.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate by council? Then I will ask for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. That concludes our business portion of the meeting, so we'll move to council reports, and we'll start with Council Member Catherine Hardrick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, and hola, buenas tardes. And I want to remind everyone that we just celebrated and honored our veterans and fallen heroes for Memorial Day. And I just want to give my condolences to the family members who have lost loved ones. I actually lost my uncle, who's a World War II veteran. He was 100 years old, and he just passed on May 18th, just shy of his 101st birthday. But we were able to honor at the City Hall of Snellville a gentleman that was 103. I believe he was the same age as the city. So I do want to honor all of our fallen heroes. In addition to that, I was able to participate with our graduation of our young people. All of our students at South Gwinnett, students at Snellville Middle and Britt, and all the other high school students that were graduating. And I want to say that it was so amazing to see a lot of our young people graduate this school year. So hats off to all of our high school graduates going on and taking on the next chapter in life. I would like to remind everyone that early voting will begin on June 8th for the runoff elections. So please make sure you check your polls and all of your updated information at mvp.sos.ga.gov. There is runoff elections, and you go to that spot and find out where you need to go for your early voting polling locations. Election day is on June 16th, so please make sure you're up to date on that. Please also mark your calendars for June the 11th is the Gwinnett Women's Veterans Luncheon, and that's to commemorate Women's Armed Service Integration Act that was signed into law by President Truman on June 12th of 1948. And before that act was signed, women could not serve active duty. And as a result, myself, being a woman, was able to serve. And not only did he sign that, but he also eliminated, or he also made desegregation. And so we were integrated into the military. And as a result, there was a team of African-American women who you may have heard of, 6th 888 Battalion, who made history in cleaning up a 2-year backlog of mail in only 3 months. So please, if you have an opportunity, join Chairwoman Nicole Love Hendrickson and myself on June 11th. Lastly, Flag Day will be on June 13th at 10 a.m. and that is hosted by our very own former council member, Mike Sabah. And that is, again, is on June 13th at 10 a.m. and that will be at the VFW located in Lawrenceville Highway. Thank you so much, Mayor. That will conclude my report.
Thank you, Kat, and we'll go to Councilmember Brown.
Good evening. I had the privilege of attending the veteran ceremony that is every year. Kelly does a good job at putting on this ceremony, not only as in memory of, but our councilmen, Norman Carter and CJ Pitts, really silenced the room with some heavy words. It is an honor to stand next to them, you know, knowing that they have served, but to hear their hearts and to understand what Memorial Day actually meant to them. So thank you both for doing that and just kind of speaking from a place where some of us who didn't serve really don't understand and don't really understand what that wall says, that freedom really just ain't free. Our soldiers live with the memory of things that they've done to protect us that we can't even imagine. So thank you to every veteran, and thank you to Kelly for always making sure you make that day momentous. No matter what it meant or what it means to someone, it really is important to recognize that, so thank you. Over the past week, I have been to 5 graduation ceremonies, and I don't think I want to go in again, you know. Congratulations, but sitting through them is painful. I had 23 students graduate from Snellville Youth Council and are headed to colleges. 20 of them are going on full ride scholarships. Some of them will be receiving more scholarships this upcoming summer. I would say that I felt like it was my children walking across that stage because it was a proud moment that all of them graduated with honors. So congratulations to every student that participated in the Snellville Youth Council and is participating in the upcoming Unity Day and celebration of Juneteenth. They have been working hard. They have been out here in the community engaging with people, engaging with the businesses, and really this year will be really, really something to be proud of. They're striving to not only to make their parents proud, but to make this community proud to be a place where this can happen. So thank you, and I welcome you all to attend. It is June 19th from 4 to 8, right at the Grove. Tell your friends, tell everyone we are coming together in honor of Juneteenth, but to celebrate unity and what that looks like for Snellville. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. Now we'll go to Councilmember C.J. Pitt.
Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. That was nice. I appreciate it. Real quick, I'm gonna go fast. Just a couple of shout outs, of course, to the schools. Summer is here, so everyone should see a lot more of me in the streets. So hello, everybody. I would like to give a shout out to Miss Nikki Conway, Shiloh Elementary School, for winning the Life Changing Teacher Award. Only a total of 4,000 teachers across the country received that award. That might seem like a lot, but we know it's what, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of teachers. So only 4,000 received that award, and that's from Shiloh Elementary School. I also like to thank Shiloh Elementary School for having me for Career Day about 10 days, 2 weeks ago, right before summer, and it was a beautiful, wonderful experience. I think they're now Shiloh Generals, so it's pretty awesome to hang out with a group of other kids other than Comets, but don't tell the Comets I said that. They gonna get me. Also, shout out to Saquonah High School. We also was able to attend their Teacher of the Year ceremony at the end of the school year. I hope the name is correct. I think it was Miss Marshall, right? Miss Marshall, she was the Teacher of the Year at Saquonah High School. Mayor Pro Tem Carter joined us and gave an awesome speech on her behalf. And then also Brookwood Cluster Summer Camp. I tried to squeeze in Brookwood somewhere, right? So Brookwood have their summer camp coming out. So if you're listening, or if you're here, you have grandkids or something that need summer camp, check out Brookwood Summer Camp. And on June 25th, 11 to 4, kindergarten through 8, Brookwood cheerleaders for Brookwood High School will put on a one-day camp for anybody who might want to be a cheerleader. So if you have the opportunity to bring them there to Brookwood, they're putting on some community things for our kids to enjoy. That's all I have.
Thank you, CJ. And we'll go to Councilmember Carrie Hetherington.
CJ didn't say it, so I guess I will. It is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here. Rochelle, my brother, his last name started with a W in a class of 600 plus at Brookwood, something like 9 years ago, and I'm still a little traumatized from that. That is a long night. Couple of things. First of all, upcoming events. Friday, June 5th is Food Truck Friday. Lots of food trucks out here on the green, 4 to 8 p.m. And then the very next day is the rescheduled Beach Blast event. It was, oh, it's on Sunday. I'm sorry. Sunday the 7th. I'm sorry. It was scheduled for last month and was rescheduled because of the rain. It's coming back. It'll be on the 7th. This past weekend, we had our first Concert of the Green for the year. Once again, Kelly put on an amazing event despite the weather earlier in the day. It was the first Summer Series concert event with a fully activated Grove. There were lots of people walking over with their cups from Crooked Can, from Parkside, from the Taqueria, with their stickers on them that our team worked so hard to design all the branding for the Grove. It was really fun to see, to be a part of. And Kelly, again, just a really great event. So many people out there to come see Departure, even with the weather. It's really a fun time. I also want to acknowledge Lincoln Fill Station. They have been friends of the city for a very long time, for about 12 years. They have provided refreshments for, I don't even know how many events, for years out on the green. They did a beer garden, I think it was at a fall festival several years ago. What was actually for a veterans thing? Was it a veterans thing? They've done so much for the city. They have done fundraisers, they've contributed, they've shown up. They did close their doors last week. They're not here, but I do want to publicly thank Tiny and Brad for all that they have done for the city. That's a business that will be very much missed in this area. And lastly, the contract with Jacobs. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about participating in when it comes time, the citizen input, when it's time for that. I was a part of a lot of those meetings as things were developing for the Grove, and I learned so much as a citizen attending those meetings and getting to talk about what we envisioned, and I just really look forward to being a part of that moving forward with this new section. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Carrie. And now we'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Carter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I want to go back over the Snellville Youth Council. I had the pleasure of being there for their graduation celebration, and just a fantastic job done by Councilmember Rochelle Brown and Director Esther Ndewa. It's moving to me to see young, intelligent people conversing and to be among them and to sit among, I had the pleasure of sitting among honor students going on to further their education and just to listen to their conversations and their plans for going to college. Just absolutely amazing and moving. Thank you for good job you guys did. It was very moving for me event. I would like to thank all who came to our Memorial Day celebration here at City Hall on May 23rd and who braved the weather for our first summer concert on the town green. Compliments to Kelly McAloon, who helped to organize and keep that going. It was heartening to see the importance many of our citizens place on honoring those who died in the service of their country. A special thank you to Mrs. Marguerite Agee, also known as Cricket, for all she does to keep the memory of our fallen soldiers fresh in the minds of all citizens. Snellville Community Church will be holding a vacation Bible school. It's called, one of the section of it is called Beyond the Basics for youth 5 to 12 years old. $20 per player from June 13th to June 15th. Registration is by July 1st, and they're at 2024 Main Street. Also want to announce, Gwinnett County and Snellville have a cornucopia of activities for school-age children during the summer. If you or your group would like copies of the Gwinnett County or Snellville magazines, please email me at ncarter@snellville.gov. In addition, both have many activities for older adults. I think that there's a lot of misinformation going on about what the city and this county does or does not provide, and I'm willing to bring to you the magazines. You just send me an email. I'll make sure I get that information to you. I think that's important. Want to stop all this misinformation that's going on about our city and our county. Lastly, Snellville and all Georgia municipalities are blessed by law to have all elected positions as nonpartisan. Partisan thinking and partisan loyalties are both irrelevant to the duties of these positions and can fracture the unity and of our organization and cloud the vision of persons in these positions. I mention this because Snellville and Gwinnett County are being targeted by ideologues whose goals have little to do with the health and welfare of the city and this county. We need independent thinkers beholden to the community they serve and not to the malignancy of purposeful disruptors who pour hundreds of thousands of dollars to support candidates who are anxious for justification of their illusions of grandeur at the expense of the health and welfare of their electorate. I do not want my city or my county to sink into the same cesspool that has stagnated our U.S. legislature. I have said this before and I will say this today. If you are not opening your eyes and your minds to be critical thinkers about whom you elect to serve, you may find yourself looking more like the stagnated government of the city of South Fulton rather than the thriving government of the city of Snellville. If your leadership litmus test is based on political party, be prepared to see your city slip into the chaos and mediocrity. Nonpartisan is a blessing. Embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. And as far as events go, Carrie outlined a few. We also have our first farmers market of the season will be on June the 6th. At where? On the green. Yep. So we'll have 3 events going on that first weekend in June. So plan to spend some time here in the city. I will end my remarks with that, and I will open the floor to public comment. Anyone who would like to make a comment, please step forward. Less than 5 minutes on one topic, please.
Lights, lights, lights. That's all I'm bringing y'all tonight. I brought you the street lights. I understand that there's street lights are city, county, and state. But they're all contracted through Walton EMC. From one end of the city limits to the other end of the city limits on 78, there are 29 street lights out. Okay? Who on this council has gone to Walton EMC and said, what's going on? Okay. Another issue is police car. We got a police car on the road that has one light. It's been out there for a week. I got a ticket back in 2020 for $116. Okay, for a brake light. No warning. Got a ticket. We have a police car that's been driving around a week with one light on. Okay. Something good to say about our city is last month, our Veterans Memorial torch has been lit. It hasn't gone out. I don't know if replacing glass on there or what has happened, but it hasn't gone out. We've had storms, and nobody has reported in the last couple of days that it's gone out, and that's amazing. Since 2014, it's been going out a couple times a month, but whatever has changed up there, it has not gone out in the last month. So that's a blessing. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, honorable members of council and mayor. I'm Todd Warner, you may remember me, 3144 Turf Terrace. I come tonight to ask my esteemed council and mayor for some help. Got notice last week that the Gwinnett County has an application for 312 apartments at 1162 Cooper Road, which is also 1160 Athens Highway. That is also called Peddler's Emporium, or that's what it currently is. The design for the apartments is less than optimal, and it is showing the only access point being directly opposite Storybrook Lane, which I believe goes into Hawthorne Glen, is directly opposite the entrance to Hawthorne Glen. The traffic issues are going to be just ridiculous. It is a spot zoning. It's currently shown on the long land use plan for Gwinnett County as traditional housing plus. So you'll have to look into exactly what that is, but it certainly doesn't sound like multifamily. The Planning Commission of Gwinnett County is to hear the case on July 8th, and it will be for final action before the Board of Commissioners on July 28th. I would ask my city council to please let the county know that the city does not support this spot zoning. As you may know, down 78, We hopscotch in the city, out of the city, in the city, out of the city. And it's something that we probably need to look at getting cleaned up. It's been discussed a number of times. I'm not saying annex this property, but we definitely need to make sure that the county knows that this is not in the best interest of the city. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for everything that y'all do for the city. Oh, and Miss Linsky wants y'all to know that she's personally insulted that as a South Gwinnett Comet, she has a green and gold trash can now. Good night.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I won't entertain a motion to adjourn. We have an exec session that were not able to get to before the meeting. So we will adjourn this meeting into, what are we doing? Recessing. Into exec session. We'll go into the conference room for that. We'll come back into this forum to adjourn out of our regular meeting. We don't expect any votes or actions to occur after the exec session. During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Bender announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and asked council to advise the city with respect to closing the meeting. City Attorney John Crowley advised the city of the following reasons to close the meeting:
pending and potential litigation.
To discuss pending and/or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions which is exempt from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to OCGA Section 50-14-21. And that's it. Upon a motion of Councilmember Hetherington and seconded by Councilmember, the meeting was closed with the following council members and mayor present and voting. Mayor Barbara Bender, yes. Mayor Pro Tem Norman Carter. Yes. Councilmember Carrie Hetherington.
Yes.
Councilmember Rochelle Brown. Yes. Councilmember Kat Hardrick. Yes. Councilmember CJ Pitt.
Yes.
Thereupon, well, all persons haven't left the room. We're going to leave the room and head to the conference room. I have the time as 9:13. So we are back in session in the regular meeting. There was no action to come out of the executive session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. That is 6, right? Norman? 6-0, we are done. Thank you all so much.